presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right? So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off a dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Big Ten champions.
National champions, yes. The Ducks take home an indoor national title.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Where do we start? Oh my goodness, because this was one heck of a weekend for Oregon athletics. I mean, I feel like the entire show we could headline with right now because there was just that much great that went on for Oregon athletics this weekend. Oregon took home 2 Big Ten championships. The Ducks are now up to 8 Big Ten championships in the first year in the conference as both baseball and men's outdoor track and field took home Big Ten titles. Oregon now has Big Ten championships in football, women's cross country, women's indoor track and field, men's indoor track and field, women's golf, softball, baseball, and men's outdoor track and field. That's 8 Big Ten championships for Oregon in the first year of the conference. We could start the show with that. We could start the show with the fact that Oregon women's golf is in the top 3 in the NCAA Championships and are trending to make another cut later today. Or we could talk about Oregon softball on the weekend at the Jane because that was absolutely awesome. Everything about it, it was anxiety-ridden, it was stressful, and then it was euphoric all at the same time. And that's the great thing about sports, and that's the great thing about the postseason format. Oh, I was riding the ebbs and flows of the weekend at Jane Sanders Stadium, and to cap it off the way that Oregon did, oh my good, it was fitting. It felt like this team all year long has really embraced the okay, so what, now what mentality. Okay, this happened. So what? Did we win? Did we lose? All right. Well, analyze, flush it, come back, be ready for the next game. And it felt like there were so many moments over the course of the weekend where Oregon could have broke. It could have been the final blow. And the Ducks, they stood in their corner and they fought back. They fought from the ropes, and Oregon, time after time after time, it seemed like they just had at least a little bit of life. And in some points, Oregon was certainly the aggressor throughout the course of the weekend. And right when it looked like Oregon was back up against the ropes, the Ducks continued to fight back and claw back and execute in clutch moment after clutch moment, every single at-bat, every single pitch. It felt like Oregon won down the stretch, especially in Game 7 of that regional against Stanford. That was one heck of a battle. It's a weekend and a moment that I'll remember for a long time. Our friends over the student station, KWVA, they had the final call of Oregon walking their way off to the Super Regionals.
First pitch to Patman. Swings and sends it out to left field. It is gone! Oregon wins! Oregon wins! Patman puts the Ducks in the Supers! They fought like a flock! And Oregon is headed to the Super Regional!
That was Saul Galvan on the call. And that was one heck of a moment. After Oregon lost in Game 3, they battled their way. They lost the driver's seat game. They battled their way back. They played 5 games in this regional. They were down 7-3 in Game 7. Battled their way all the way back, and Oregon advances to the Super Regionals. That is really what postseason softball is all about. Nobody is ever out of it. And we found out about that in a big way because not only are the Ducks going to the Super Regionals, the Ducks are going to host the Super Regionals next week at Jane Sanders Stadium because of some chaos in other places in the bracket. Liberty upset the number 1 overall seed Texas A&M. It's the first time ever that a number 1 overall seed has not advanced, and that means that Oregon is in position and will host this upcoming weekend Super Regionals against Liberty. It feels like Oregon in so many sports have been matched up against Liberty in postseason play over the last few years. Men's basketball in the NCAA tournament played against Liberty. Football last year played against Liberty in the Fiesta Bowl. And now softball will get a crack at Liberty in the Super Regionals. It will start on Friday. That'll be game 1 at 7 p.m. at the Jane, then Saturday at 4 p.m. at Jane Sanders Stadium, and then, if necessary, a Sunday game to be determined on the time if there needs to be a Sunday game. The format, best 2 out of 3. You win 2, don't got to play a third, and you're on your way to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. Tickets are going fast. I just talked to the ticket people less than an hour ago. They said there's less than 200 tickets left. Go to GoDucks.com/SBTix to make sure that you claim the last few tickets that are going to be available to be at Jane Sanders Stadium over the course of this upcoming weekend. Oregon, for the first time under Coach Lombardi, going to a hosting a Super Regional. For the second time under Coach Lombardi, going to a Super Regional. And for the first time, looking to go to the Women's College World Series under Coach Lombardi. The stakes, they couldn't be higher. You felt it over the course of the weekend. Oregon pushed through when it mattered most, got the win when they needed it, and it was a roller coaster of a weekend. There were certainly a lot of highs. There were a few lows, but it ended on a high. And we're breaking down the course of the entire weekend, how it happened, how the Ducks punched their way to a Super Regional. That's coming up when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Oregon softball is headed to the Super Regionals as the Ducks win the Eugene Regional over the course of the weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was a lot of softball over the weekend. The Ducks were playing in most of the games, and it started great for Oregon on Friday. The Ducks took care of business against Weber State the way that they should have. Riley McCoy started the scoring with a home run in the first inning. That's the tone you want to set when you open up a regional, and also it was kind of a fitting bookend, or at least one of the bookends for what this weekend ended up being. Riley McCoy with the solo home run in the first inning started the scoring for Oregon. The Ducks then broke it open offensively in the fourth with a 4-run inning. Oregon added 3 more in the fifth. It was 8-0 Ducks, and that's all that Lindsey Grind needed in Game 1. Grind tossed a 5-inning complete game shutout as Oregon won 8-0 in the first game. Desiana Patman, 2 for 3, 3 RBI, a double, and a home run. Kai and Kedri Lushar both went 2 for 3 in Game 1. That set up a winner's bracket game against Stanford. It was the first game of the day on Saturday, and the Ducks did not get what they wanted in that game. Stanford, they took an early lead. They were up 3-1 going into the 5th inning, scored a few in the 5th, and then in the 6th inning, Stanford really broke it open. It was a 9-run 6th inning for the Cardinals. Stanford ended up winning that Saturday game, Game 3 of the weekend, the first game on Saturday, by a score of 14-1. Put Oregon in the loser's bracket, and once you get in the loser's bracket, you got to win 3 in a row if you're going to find your way out of a regional. Well, we know Oregon did that because the Ducks responded immediately. In the game that night against Weber State, Oregon, they scored first. Weber State immediately answered. It was 1-1 going into the second inning. Katie Flannery answered the Weber State run with a 2-run homer. And then Oregon in the 4th inning really pulled away. Paige Sinicki, an RBI double, was followed by a Katie Flannery RBI double, and then Kedri Lushar hit a 2-run home run, part of a big 4th inning for Oregon. The Ducks added 1 more in the 5th and 1 more in the 7th, made it 9-1 Ducks. Lindsey Grind started the game for Oregon, threw an inning, gave up the run, and then Elise Sokolsky came in and threw 6 scoreless innings in relief. Kedri Lushar was 3 for 5 with 4 RBI in this game. Kaylin Jones was 3 for 5 in this ball game. Paige Sinicki, 2 for 4 with a double and a triple, and Kai Lushar was 2 for 3 with 2 walks in the Saturday Game 5 of the regional, which put Oregon in position to advance to the regional final and play against Stanford, where the Ducks had to win back-to-back games on Sunday against the Cardinal. Going into Sunday, the mission was simple. You have to win 2. And the Ducks felt like they came out with a really strong offensive approach in that first game on Sunday. The Ducks, they struck for 2 early in the first inning. It was 2-0 Oregon to start. But Stanford, they didn't go away quietly. They answered with 2 more in the bottom of the first. It was 2-2. This was a game where you kind of felt like the bats had to come alive, and the bats did come alive. Kedri Lushar doubled to give Oregon the lead back in the second inning. And then Riley McCoy hit a 3-run home run the very next batter to highlight what ended up being a 5-run second inning. That home run for Riley McCoy tied the Oregon single-season home run record held by Anne-Marie Tops, which she set in the 2007 season. So a big home run for Riley McCoy, not only in the context of this game, but also in the context of the Oregon program, and also this season as a whole, because Oregon needed to win this ball game. And that 5-run second inning put Oregon in front, and the Ducks needed those runs because Stanford, they were not going away quietly. They answered with 3 unanswered runs in a row to claw back in it and made it a 7-5 ball game. Kedri Lushar then answered back in the 5th inning with a 3-run home run. Then Paige Sinicki tripled in a run. Then Paige Sinicki scored from third base. It was another 5-run inning for Oregon in the 5th inning, which allowed the Ducks to go up 12-5. Oregon kept the offense humming in the 6th, scored 3 more, and secured a 15-5 run rule victory to force a Game 7 in a winner-take-all, winner advances to play in the Super Regionals. Now at this time, in live time at Jane Sanders Stadium, there was the Texas A&M Liberty game going on in the Herb Yamanaka room, and then there was the game happening on the field, and I wish everybody could see it because the frantic running back and forth during half innings between standing and watching from the concourse to going inside to the media room to watching what was happening in the A&M Liberty game, it was comical but also stressful. It was everything great about sports all in one. And ultimately, Liberty, they end up winning the game early when Oregon was playing in their Game 7. Liberty won their Game 7, and the Ducks, that's all they knew. They knew, okay, win, and there's going to be more games at Jane Sanders Stadium. It didn't start out great for Oregon in that Game 7. Stanford, they loaded the bases early with 2 outs in the first inning, and then you think Oregon's out of the inning. Joey Economides hit a pop fly in foul territory. It gets dropped. She gets another chance at the plate and didn't waste it. Instead of getting out of the inning, Economides hit a home run, a grand slam, and made it 4-0 Stanford early. Oh no! Oregon's got to respond. Well, it really felt like every time that Stanford had opportunities, Oregon came back and responded, but it wasn't an immediate response. The Ducks threw up a 0 in the bottom of the first, and then a pretty scary moment, actually, in the top of the second inning. Stanford hit a hard line drive to first base. Riley McCoy tried to catch it, hit off of her face, and she ultimately exited the game. She left the stadium, didn't come back, and we're wishing Riley McCoy the best. All reports sound that she is okay. There was a scary moment. Wishing Riley McCoy the best. It looks like she is going to be okay for Oregon. But that was a heart-wrenching moment, and a moment that was quite frankly emotional from both sides. Stanford players looked pretty emotional. Oregon players looked pretty emotional. And in the postgame, you'll hear that after Riley McCoy went down, it was almost a rallying moment for the team. All right, it's time to do it for Riley McCoy. Make sure that this wasn't going to be the last game of the season that she played with this team. And Oregon did that immediately. In the bottom of the second inning, Oregon put 2 on base in front of Katie Flannery, who once again this weekend left the yard to make it 4-3. But then in the third inning, Joey Economides again for Stanford hit a 3-run home run, and the Cardinals were up 7-3. But here's where the tide started to shift for Oregon. Stacey Chambers came into the game with 1 out in the inning, got out of the frame, shut down the Cardinal. Oregon immediately in the bottom half of the third inning made up for the dropped fly ball. Emma Cox did, as she hit a 2-run home run and put Oregon within 2, made it a 7-5 ball game. And the decision from Coach Lombardi to go to Stacey Chambers in the circle proved to be a very smart decision, because Stacey Chambers was excellent. She retired 11 straight Cardinal hitters from the third inning all the way into the 7th to keep Oregon in it as the Ducks continued to chip away offensively. They got one back in the 5th, made it 7-6. Then Des Patman led off the 6th inning with a triple and was driven in by a Kai Lushar infield single to tie the game at 7 going into the 7th. It's a fresh ball game. You're playing one inning. Whoever wins the inning wins the game, advances to the Super Regionals. And Stanford, they felt the moment. They got into it and finally put up base runners against Stacey Chambers. They had runners on the corners with 2 outs, and Coach Lombardi goes to the bullpen, goes and gets Elise Sokolsky, who faces Joey Economides, who had all 7 RBI for Stanford in the game, ground out to third base, put the bats back in Oregon's hand. With 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, Paige Schnicki at the plate. Hard single through the right side. Then she steals second base. Throw goes into the outfield. Schnicki able to advance to third. Paige Shinicki at third base with one out. Emma Cox in a 3-0 count. Stanford decides to intentionally walk her to set up a potential double play. And then Des Patman comes to the plate with runners on the corners and one out and a chance to send Oregon to the Super Regionals. On the very first pitch, Desiana Patman delivered.
Des Patman after the walk of Cox. Infield comes in. Winning run 60 feet away. Fly ball, left field, and it's gone! Oregon walks it off! Desiana Patman, are you serious?
Are you serious is right. Desiana Patman with one heck of a swing. She had a stellar ball game, especially late down the stretch. She was 2 for 3, 3 RBI. They came on the 3-run homer, the walk-off homer to send Oregon to the Super Regionals. Patman scored 3 runs in the ball game. All were critical to Oregon's 10-7 victory over Stanford to send the Ducks to the Super Regionals. Katie Flannery was also excellent. She was 2 for 3 with 3 RBI. Emma Cox offensively, 1 for 2 at the plate. She walked twice. She scored 2 runs, and she drove in 2 on a homer. The Ducks, the bats came alive when they needed it. The pitching was stout when it mattered. Stacey Chambers really clutch in this ball game to hold things down for the Ducks. Desiana Patman, I mean, it doesn't get more clutch than a leadoff triple in the 6th when you're down by a run, and then a walk-off home run in the 7th to send you to the Supers. Emma Cox was tremendous. Coach Lombardi, a stellar weekend for the Ducks all the way around. Coach Lombardi, Desiana Patman, Stacey Chambers, Emma Cox, they all spoke to the media after what was a tremendous close to the Eugene Regional last night.
What an unbelievable weekend. To look back yesterday and for us not to perform the way we wanted to and not get the driver's seat game, but then from there to persevere and beat Weber State and then get to today. We just knew we needed to get to today and focus on one pitch at a time. I think about we had some miscues today in both games that could have took us out of it, and it didn't. These guys were so on a mission to get what they want, to watch them come together as a team and just compete on every pitch was amazing. This to me was the last little piece that I've been waiting on for this team. They have it. They just needed to know that whether we're up or down, it doesn't matter, that these guys can go do and get what they want, and they did that today.
James Crabbe, the Oregonian, that's certainly one of the biggest home runs that anyone's hit here in a long time. Were you surprised that they were pitching to you rather than walking in that spot? And what were you sitting on, and do you know what you hit?
I was just looking for a pitch. Right before we went up there, I looked at Coach and looked at Stacey, and we were just like, one pitch at a time, sell out.
I guess for both Stacey and Des, you guys transfer here to have this year, this experience. It kind of feels fitting for you both to play big roles in this game together. It seems like you had kind of a similar ride. Can you both speak to, kind of this season as a whole, but to be able to perform this way in this game with so much on the line? Maybe start with Stacey.
Yeah, like Coach and Dad says, we were really trying to focus on one pitch at a time. And I mean, for me, I was just trying to put the team in a spot that for us to win the game. Everything was just slowing it down. The game was high energy, high intensity, and I needed to do the opposite in order to put our team in a position to win. So.
Like, this is why you come to Oregon, right? To have big moments like this, and I wasn't hanging up the cleats today. I know that we talked about that as seniors. We were not done. This was not the end of version 7's journey. So we had our eyes on the mission the whole entire time.
Aiden Escated, Weekday Sports Coach. This is the second time with your time here at Oregon where you've advanced through the regional round, the second time where you've ended on a walk-off home run. How did it feel this time around, especially being at home?
It felt great. Our fans were amazing. Our fans have been amazing all year long. And I just think about how so many times they helped us. And tonight was another one. They were crazy to have to be an opponent and to play in this atmosphere. It's tough. Our fans are special. They get into it.
Jeremy Iskowitz, Duck TV. This is really for anyone. You guys have relied on Riley a lot all season. So what does it mean for you guys for tonight after she went down to put her on your back? How does that feel?
Yeah. Man, Riley's one of my best friends in the entire world. So when she got hurt, it was very emotional, but I've never seen a team come together more than we did in that moment because she has meant so much to us this whole season. We wanted to do it even more for her than anybody else. So I think it just pulled us together even more, for sure.
Back left.
Coach, really quickly, can you talk about Emma's toughness? Because in that first inning, obviously, after the dropped foul ball led to a grand slam, obviously things could have immediately gone out of hand, but never felt like, Emma, your confidence was shaken, and then you have the 2-run blast. Can you just talk about what you saw from her and just a little bit about what you saw in that blast, how that kind of helped get this team back into it?
Mental toughness, like you would never know that she's a freshman. She doesn't act like a freshman. She acts like an upperclassman. You know what? Sometimes things happen. And that's what I love about this team is that if something doesn't go our way, it doesn't matter. Like, we have your back. And to see her reset and move on and then hit a bomb and just be crucial in this game with everything else, I feel like if she's a young freshman, I don't know if she resets, but she's not. So just to see her mentality, to see her strength, to see her belief in her teammates, and to see her teammates say, hey, we got you, we just kept moving forward.
Emma, do you want to speak to that as well?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there's going to be tough breaks in any game. I'm thankful for my coaches and my teammates who pulled me through it. They said, nope, you're coming along with us. We're getting you through. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be. So I'm super grateful for my teammates who believed in me and my coach who believed in me. And, yeah, surrounded by good people.
Just to follow up on Riley, do you have an update on her availability going forward? But also, and then my question was going to be, can you speak to you've got some spectacular defense in the last couple innings, Paige, Ayana, just how much those plays stick out, given the way it ended.
Riley is in a good spot. I don't have a whole lot of updates. I just know that she's good. And that's the one thing I was telling our athletes, like anytime you see that, I mean, on the field, it's very upsetting and it's uncomfortable. But just to me, the most important thing was to see her get up on her feet and walk away. And so from there, let Kate and our staff take care of her. So I don't have an update, but I know that she's doing well. To speak on those, I just asked our team in the outfield, like, how many 50-50 plays do you think we had today? And it was amazing. I could just run through them all. But that just, we've been talking all year about how defense wins championships, and there you go.
Stacey, statistically, that was one of your certainly the most dominant performance here, and I know you were in it for a while. But even in your career, that's one of the most. You certainly had higher strikeout games, but you had the A&M game at Fullerton, but you came in relief and Bill lost that game. Is that, to you, is that the best or the most impactful performance in your career? And how did you retire 11 straight do it?
I mean, I don't really rank my performances. Really, I just do it all for my team, and whatever the outcome is, it's what's supposed to happen. And I don't know, I just like to compete at the end of the day, and being able to put our team in a good position and a position to win was really, it's always my main focus in a game. So.
John Evans, Duck Territory. Coach, Stanford came into this series walking batters at nearly a top 10 rate in the country, but you guys only take 2 yesterday. 10 in that first game, 6 in the second one, and the 2 homers come after walks to set them up. How much did it mean to just see your team make that adjustment like that?
It was a big adjustment. We needed that because our timing-wise, we were early and we were swinging at pitches out of the zone and getting ourselves out. And once they got on time, you could see that we were seeing the ball clear, and then we started to see our walks, and then us do a good job of cashing in on the walks with a big swing.
Back left.
Stacey, kind of segueing off of what James asked, your season has been full of challenges. Being able to have the success you had out there, having had a couple of minutes to reflect, what's it like to know that the team, you had to put the team on your back and you were able to step up and actually perform?
To be in that position is incredibly fulfilling. I have had multiple outings throughout this season where the team has put me on their back. So being able to like flip the switch and, you know, just do what I can for them. Like I was telling Paige to Nikki, we kept telling each other, you got me, I got you. And like that, like being able to say that to her and say that to the rest of the girls on the defense, that brings it out. Like it's not just within me. There's not a lot of pressure. Like it's just getting the job done. We've been there before. We know how to do it, and that's what it is.
Coach, after that injury to Riley, you definitely kind of had to navigate your way through her spot in the order, and then especially defensively. What kind of went behind the decisions of putting Remington Hewitt in there at first for a little bit and then pivoting over to Maake, who really hadn't had that much experience at first base but did a nice job tonight?
Yeah. For Rem to come in and hold it down for us, that's what we needed at the moment. And so to see her come in and hold it down. And then from there, one thing a lot of people don't know about Steph, I mean, Steph has played multiple positions. She's a first baseman, she's an outfielder. Steph pitches. So Steph's very athletic. She's worked at first plenty of times. And when we moved her there, it allowed us to move Ayanna into the outfield, which when you think of Ayanna, what do you think? You think of the big catch that she made and right center. So it just allowed us to get Ayanna in the outfield, which I thought was huge.
Des, you said that you didn't want this to be the last time you're suiting up for Oregon. You guys get to play here again next week. What does that mean to you to get another opportunity to play in front of these fans at the stadium?
Oh, it means everything. We were competing to play at the Jane again. Like, we have the best stadium, and I stand on that. Jane's sanity is real, and our fans are crazy, and I love them.
I guess to that point, Coach, like how much were you monitoring what was going on between Liberty and A&M throughout the course of the weekend? Are you trying to keep on track of that? Are you trying to block it out? What was your process there? Yeah. And the way it all fit into the way your weekend played out?
I mean, obviously on Saturday, you know what everybody's done up to that point. For today, I didn't care. All I cared about was us and being caught up in us and not caught up in anybody else. I put all of my energy into us. And then after the game, got to find out. And that's exactly how I wanted it.
Last one. Missy was going to ask you about a couple things strategically on both ends today. In the first game, I don't believe it's the first time I've ever seen you do it, but rarely. You went to the bullpen in like the sixth inning with Elise, which I have not seen you do very much in game to do. Then go to her in the seventh with I'm going to butcher the last name, but Slugger, and to pitch to her rather than to walk her and then go for it. Can you walk through the strategy on your side, and then conversely, can you believe that they pitched to Des, given what she did in the sixth, when they had a base open, they could have gone to Kaylin, who has less power by comparison?
Yeah. One thing about Elise is she's a dog. She's been coming in and closing for us all year long. I mean, we put her in some big time pressure situations, and she just keeps continuing to get it done for us. So I thought the matchup was right, and just loved watching her come in both. So that last out, it was righty-righty matchup, and I thought she was a great matchup, and came in, and she just comes in and she gets it done. And I know there was no way she was going to let this one, like she was going to take care of business for her. As far as on the other side, I don't know. I don't make the decisions. I'm just focused on what we're doing. I'm glad they pushed her.
Aesthetic.
I'm glad they pitched her too. What a swing by Desiana Patman. She said that she wasn't going to hang her cleats up today. Her cleats are still on. It might be a little dirty. Got to wash them up for next weekend as Liberty comes in to Jane Sanders Stadium for the Super Regional. And what I really felt was so fitting about this team and the way that they won this weekend is all year, this team, it hasn't been about one or two or three people. It's been really a complete team effort. And I felt like everybody over the course of the wins this weekend got their shine one way or another. Whether it was Desiana Patman hitting the walk-off, Stacey Chambers getting in and pitching really good in relief to close it out. Kedri Lushar had some home runs over the weekend. Kai Lushar was clutch in big moments. Paige Sinicki was awesome in huge moments. Kaylin Jones had a 3-hit game in there. It felt like everybody, whether it was the pitching staff or it was the offense, had moments and contributed to a whole bunch of wins throughout the weekend. It really felt like a full, complete team effort, and that's the way that this team has felt all year long. And now the Ducks, you got past the regional round, you're into the Supers against Liberty, and you're 2 wins away from Oklahoma City. Congratulations to Oregon softball advancing through the Super Regionals. We'll have Coach Lombardi on the show tomorrow to continue to break down what was a phenomenal weekend at the Jane. We're getting a timeout because, softball may be going to Oklahoma City. Duck baseball going to Omaha coming up this week as the Ducks clinch the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament and a Big Ten title over the weekend. Breaking it down when we return on Duck Inside on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
With a great selection of new Toyotas, everyone knows your summer starts here at your Toyota dealer, even your pet parrot.
Your summer starts here.
Well said.
Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends June 2nd. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live for the better of myself, my family. My weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. On Facebook, live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Cindy Sexton said, throat is still raspy from all the yelling. Got our tickets. We'll be ready to yell some more. Prayers for Riley McCoy. Yes. That means you did your job this weekend, and I'm so excited to see you next weekend as Oregon. The Jane was awesome. The Jane was absolutely rocking over the weekend as Oregon made their way into the Super Regionals, advanced past Stanford in the regional round. Oregon baseball, the way that things are going for the Ducks, maybe softball won't be the only team to host in postseason because the Ducks have clinched a Big Ten championship after the results this weekend. We broke down Thursday's 10-0 win on the show on Friday, but Friday's game, I thought this was maybe the biggest game of Oregon's season to this point. The Ducks won 9-6 against Iowa and did it in a fashion they haven't all year. Drew Smith got Oregon up 1-0 in the first inning. He had an RBI single in Game 1 to put Oregon up 1-0. Felt like deja vu. But that's really where the similarity started and ended from the first game to the second, because Iowa found their offense in the middle innings. They put up 6 runs across the third, fourth, and fifth frames, and Oregon's only offense during that stretch was a Jacob Walsh solo homer. It was 6-2, Oregon trailing, entering the 6th inning. Antoneros then got a home run to put the Ducks within 3, made it 6-3. And the critical 7th inning for Oregon, after they forced Iowa to go to the bullpen, is when this game really shifted. Mason Neville led off the inning with a double. Dominic Hellman was hit by a pitch. Jacob Walsh then hit a 2 RBI double to bring Oregon, or actually an RBI double, only drove in Mason Neville, but it put Oregon within 2. Drew Smith saw a new pitcher and immediately singled to put Oregon within 1 and drive in Dominic Hellman. Then with 2 outs in the inning, Jacob Walsh on third base, Drew Smith on second, Chase Meggers came to the plate and worked a 9-pitch walk where he fell down 1-2 in the count early to pass the bat to Ryan Cooney. Cooney then flipped it to a 1-run Oregon advantage as he hit a 2-strike, 2-out double down the left field line. It was 7-6 Ducks after that. Oregon added 2 more in the 9th to make it 9-6. The Ducks bullpen was near flawless. 4 2/3 combined scoreless innings from Ian Umlaut, Cole Stokes, Santiago Garcia, and Seth Maddox. Jacob Walsh was 3 for 5 with 3 extra base hits in the ballgame. Drew Smith was 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. And Ryan Cooney was 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. It was the biggest comeback win of Oregon's season, and it set up a matchup on Saturday against Iowa where the winner would win the Big Ten championship. It was all the marbles in Game 3 of the series, and it was an inverse of Game 2. Iowa was the team who jumped out to the 1-0 lead early, but then it was Oregon who immediately answered back. 8 unanswered runs for the Ducks as Carter Garate started the scoring for Oregon in the 3rd with a solo home run. Then in the 4th inning, Cooney hit an RBI single, Carter Garate hit an RBI single, made it 3-1. Oregon added on 1 more in the 5th, made it 4-1. Ryan Cooney and Jacob Walsh both left the yard in the 6th inning and put Oregon up 8-1. Iowa then broke the skid, hit a home run, which Dominic Hellman immediately answered with a solo shot in the 8th inning to make it 9-2. The Hawkeyes in the bottom of the 8th, it was their last attempt to come back and force a ball game against Oregon, and they scratched off a few runs. 2 came across, and the bases were loaded, but then the Ducks, they went to Santiago Garcia out of the bullpen. He got the out. Oregon stayed up 9-4 going into the 9th, and the Ducks put the game away. 4 more in the 9th, highlighted by Carter Garate's 2nd home run of the game. Made it 13-4 Oregon. Santiago Garcia, he came in for the 9th, or he stayed in for the 9th, and he helped Oregon clinch a Big Ten title. Coach Wazakowski getting dumped with Gatorade after, deservedly so. The hats were out, the T-shirts were out. A phenomenal celebration, a well-deserved celebration for Oregon baseball. The Ducks had to be near perfect down the stretch as Oregon has now won 10 games in a row. In that final game on Saturday, Dominic Hellman was 3 for 4 with 3 RBI. Jacob Walsh was 3 for 6 with 3 RBI. Ryan Cooney was 2 for 3 with 3 RBI, and he scored 2 runs. And how about Carter Garate this weekend? 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in, and scored 3 runs just in the Saturday game. Carter Garate came into the weekend with 1 home run of the year. Carter Garate hit 3 home runs this weekend. He was that good. And remember, don't let Carter Garate get hot down the stretch because he won regional MVP last year in the Santa Barbara Regional. He can get hot and do damage against good teams when it matters. He did this weekend. Oregon clinches their Big Ten championship. Coach Wazakowski, there's still work to do, but big checkmark accomplished for Waz and the club. Here's Waz after the game.
Big Ten champs. How's it feel?
Big Ten champs. Yeah, awesome. You know, we needed to come and win all 3. We did. We came and won all 3. Really awesome effort by, you know, the team, you know, all the way through. The pitching staff, the hitters, Carter Garate, Ryan Cooney, you know, Jacob Walsh. I mean, everybody, they played really good team baseball. And we're not doing this without the players and the staff. You know, Mr. Kilkenny, Mr. Mullins, those guys back behind the scenes, you know, Jack Martyr, Marcus Hinkle, Blake Hawksworth, you know, Brett Thomas, Really, Gavin Grant, Bradley Golden, looks absolutely a fantastic guy behind the scenes. We wouldn't have been able to do this without those guys. Players, tremendous. Tip my cap. And on to the next. Now we're looking forward to get to the Big Ten tournament in Omaha, Nebraska, and going from there. Good Ducks.
On to the next for Oregon as the Ducks clinch the 1 seed in the Big Ten tournament coming up this weekend. The Ducks will play Thursday and Friday in their pool games. The Ducks are in Pool A, which means that the 1 seed Oregon will be paired up with the 8 seed Nebraska and 12 seed Michigan State. The Ducks will play their first game against Michigan State at 4 p.m. on Thursday, approximately. It is the last game of the day in Omaha where the Big Ten tournament is held. So, approximately 4 o'clock, granted with the tournament format. Who knows when it will really start, but scheduled as a 4 o'clock first pitch. Same thing on Friday. 4 o'clock first pitch scheduled for Oregon against Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament. If the Ducks win their pool, they'll advance to the semifinal round on Saturday, and then there's a final round on Sunday at the start of postseason play for Oregon baseball. The Ducks, they closed the regular season on a 10-game winning streak and have won 14 of the last 15 games. Oregon's RPI is now up to number 12 in the country, and if Oregon can take care of business, then the Ducks are in good position to be in a similar spot to where Oregon softball is right now. Potentially a regional at PK Park, and maybe even a chance to host a super regional at PK Park. Ducks are playing good baseball, have to continue to play good baseball, and somebody who has continued to play good baseball all year, Mason Neville. He was named a Golden Spikes Award semifinalist over the weekend, one of 25 finalists for the best player in college baseball, Mason Neville. Oregon takes home a Big Ten championship on the diamond, and there's a lot more to play for the Ducks now in postseason play. Oregon track and field also took home a Big Ten championship at Hayward over the weekend. We're talking about it when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, no, it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will. Don't forget to say yeah.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union, and it was such a great weekend for Oregon athletics. The Ducks advanced in the regional for Oregon softball, took home a Big Ten title in Oregon baseball, and also took home a Big Ten title for Oregon men's outdoor track and field. The Ducks finished with 110 points at the Big Ten Championships over the weekend, finished above a tie for second, where Minnesota and Wisconsin both finished with 81. So a 29-point victory for the Oregon men to take home a Big Ten title. Congratulations to the Ducks. Jerry Schumacher, after the meet, the athletes were trying to dump him with Gatorade, but I think that they forgot that Jerry Schumacher was a 3-time All-American in his collegiate career, and he still got the legs. He was running. He's still going, running away from all of the athletes trying to dump him with Gatorade after the Big Ten Championship. I don't think they got him. He ran into the tunnel, and good effort by Jerry Schumacher. Waz got dumped with the Gatorade, embraced it, didn't run away. Jerry Schumacher, track, that's the sport. If they can't catch you, you normally win a lot of meets, and also you don't get dumped with Gatorade. Congratulations to Jerry Schumacher and crew. The Oregon men took home 2 individual Big Ten championships as Simeon Birnbaum won the 5K in a time of 13:31. It was a meet record at the Big Ten championships for Simeon Birnbaum. Also, Benji Balaz in the steeplechase with a time of 8:40 won the steeple. Took home a combined 20 points in those 2 distance events for the Oregon men, helped contribute to their the Big Ten team title. The Oregon women, they came up just short of the sweep of the running events of Big Ten titles this year. They won the women's cross-country Big Ten title, won the women's indoor, and going into the last event, the Ducks were in first place for the outdoor title. Went down to the 4x4. Ultimately, USC, they finished first in the 4x4 and edged out Oregon by 8 points in the meet to secure USC the Big Ten title. But Oregon second place on the women's side, and there were a lot of individual Big Ten titles for the women. Claudia Kazimirska won the 800 in a time of 2:02.92. Shalana Yildiz took home a win in the 5K as she ran double duty after finishing second in the 15, won the 5K with a time of 15:37. That was a meet record. Aaliyah McCormick in the 100-meter hurdles finished with a 12.86, a season best for her and a win, Big Ten champion. Triple jump winner Ryan Porter was put up the fourth mark in Oregon history to secure a Big Ten title in the triple, and Annika Williams in the heptathlon put up 10 points for the Ducks on the women's side of things as Oregon finishes second on the women's track and field outdoor list for the Big Ten championships. Oregon men takes home a conference title. It's the 8th conference title for Oregon. Said it at the top of the show, but now Oregon has Big Ten titles in football, women's cross country, women's indoor track and field, men's indoor track and field, women's golf, softball, baseball, and men's outdoor track and field. It was a lot of fun over on campus this weekend, jumping from Hayward Field to Jane Sanders Stadium and seeing everything that was going on around the complexes. But titles are on the line. Oregon softball advances in the NCAAs, Big Ten championships. But Oregon women's golf is also going after a national championship as they're on the course right now. Keeping you updated on what Derek Radley's crew is doing in the NCAA championships. Ducks looking like they could continue to move on. We'll break it down when we return after this on Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCAA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow. You sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I said on Friday's show it was a championship weekend for Oregon athletics, and man, did the Ducks deliver. Championship in the Eugene Regional for Oregon softball, Big Ten championship for Oregon baseball, Big Ten championship for Oregon men on the outdoor track and field scene, and Oregon women's golf competing for a national championship this week at the NCAAs in Carlsbad, California. The Ducks survived the first cut. The field of 30 cut down to 15 after the weekend. So today, the final 15 teams are competing to make it into the final 8, and Oregon's sitting in really strong positioning right now. The Ducks, as it currently stands, are in third place at 5 under par, shot 3 under yesterday after a 1-over round in round 2 and an even par round in round 1. Currently, early today, the Ducks are 3 under par, with Tong On 2 under through 5 holes, Kiara Romero 1 under through 3 holes, and the rest of the Ducks just really got out onto the course. Oregon sitting 1 stroke behind Northwestern, a few more strokes behind Stanford, but all they got to do is survive to be the top 8, as South Carolina right now, rather Arizona State represents the first team off of the cut line at 9 over par. The Ducks have 14 strokes over the cut line going into the last round of play. Today, if the Ducks advance, then they go into the match play round, which starts tomorrow. It will be the quarter and semifinals tomorrow, and then the 2 teams that survive those 2 rounds go and will compete on Wednesday for a national championship. Today is when an individual national champion is decided, and Oregon has Suvachayeva Chaitham in the top 10. Granted, she's right now 8 strokes down of the current individual leader, but Oregon with Suvachayeva Chaitham in the hunt, and an opportunity for the team to advance to tomorrow in the NCAA Championships. Ducks made it to match play last year, trying to do it again. Tomorrow on the show, Coach Lombardi's with us breaking down a big weekend for Oregon softball. Bye, everybody. Go Ducks.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association